We will now step through the process of sending your own custom model object from your own API, convert it to an external API object, the one that we created previously, and then send it as a post request. The SpaceX API does not allow capsules to essentially post, so we'll just walk you through the process so you can do it on your own API. So let's begin. So now we're back in our test. We are going to essentially create our own API mission. It just has our name, our flight. We're just essentially just going to use the builder pattern to add that to the list of our API missions. We add another API mission, and now we're ready to add that to our capsule. So we go ahead and add it right here, our API missions. We give it a name, and we set our status to ready. So now we're ready to go ahead and post that into the integration. Let's follow that. So the first thing we have to do is convert our API capsule into SpaceX's API capsule. We do that by creating a public static method so that we can call it just like this in order to create the object. The public static allows you to essentially use these methods on the class when the object has not yet been created. So it's perfect for our use case. In order to create a list of items, we have to do that separately. So we're going to call list from, it's another public static method, and we're going to create them individually. We're going to use something called parallel streams to allow each of these items to be created in parallel. And then collect will stop the parallel process until all of the processes are done. So we call SpaceX mission, we will be using this syntax here, then it will create these objects here. And we can see that it will actually go through this and then create a list of these objects. And here you go. That's the data from our test. Now we can go ahead and build the actual object. So now we can add that to our capsule, the missions, and then we can just go ahead and get that from our original request here, our capsule and our status. Now we're ready to actually post the integration. So once again, we get our API binding from the factory. Then we open the executor service so we can run it inside of its own thread. Then we use submit, and then we can go ahead and run this in its own thread. A quick side note, since this is a post request, you'll most likely be doing something like this. Execute, which will do a runnable, so you don't even have to wait for this. Get makes it a block request until the function is finished calling. What you will be doing, most likely, because you don't want to wait for it to be done if you're not waiting, which will return a void and just keep going. But anyway, we want to see the results just for this purpose. So now we get the SpaceX capsule. This is the object that was converted from our actual API capsule. And you can see that here. So now you do the same exact thing to do the URI. And instead of a get method, you just send a post request. And since it's just a demonstration, we should actually be sending the object right here. So then, the object, and it will be just sent in the HTTP entities, and then we could just make a request with that. I went back and added this object here to the actual make request. So the only thing different here is that we changed the HTTP method to post, and we actually added the SpaceX capsule, the object that we converted from previously. Now, we're just going to walk through it. So now we need to convert that to an HTTP entity. So rather than convert, we will be actually creating a new one. We will put our request object as the first one, and the HTTP headers, which we've created at the initialization. Then we will go ahead. This request body is a generic object that allows you to essentially send anything. So object's fine here. So now we are ready to make our request. So now we call the REST template and we exchange it. So this request will not work because SpaceX does not have the ability to essentially send a capsule, but I think that this shows the purpose of sending a post request. So I hope you enjoyed this series, and please like and subscribe. If you need anything more explained, I would love to do that.